Crypto carnage is upon us as Bitcoin decides to take a move to the downside, dragging the alt sector down with it. My name is Kyle, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to check in on the price action of Theta as well as Tfuel. Let's get into it. Theta up on the daily chart, and Theta making moves to the downside with the rest of the crypto space. For all you crypto OGs out there, and for those of you that follow along with my analysis, this does not come as a surprise. As when Bitcoin dumps to the downside with Ethereum, typically the rest of the alt sector just gets dragged down with it. Historically speaking, this has just been par for the course. No fault of Theta's, just a product and consequence of the overall market. So what does this all mean? Well, at the time of recording, Theta is down about 11.5%. And interestingly enough, that's actually less than Ethereum. Ethereum beat down almost 16% at the time of recording. So that's interesting for sure. I see that Theta is looking to try to close a daily candle body below that 21 exponential moving average, and that is coming in around $3.05 and is getting a negative slope to the downside. However, the trading day still has 4.5 hours remaining, so could price action get back up above that 21? Sure, it could. If it does, I'd like to see price action hold above it on a daily candle closing basis, ultimately get above this horizontal here, coming in at $3.18, getting daily candle body closures over time above that level, then likely to initiate a retest of this liquid zone here with a bottom side coming in at $3.71 and a top side coming in at $3.97. Getting daily candle body closures up above that liquid zone, then likely the next major leg for Theta will be imminent to the upside. Of course, daily chart, that'll take a lot of time to play out, and I actually don't view that as the probable scenario in the short term, but it's always good to keep those possible scenarios on our radar so that we can have an actionable plan if price action decides to take that route. Now let's talk a little bit more about the downside, because that's what seems probable at this point in time. Getting a daily candle body closure below that 21 and even below that horizontal there at 292, then likely a retest of that 30 simple moving average, but I'm not convinced that the 30 simple moving average will hold up on a second pass. So likely initiate a test at the bottom liquid zone here, which will be a major area of interest for me, as you all know. That has that top side coming in around $2.51 and that bottom side coming in around $2.41. Very notable that the 55 exponential moving average is getting inside that liquid zone, so that offers up a pile of confluence and a likely bounce if and when price action gets down to that zone, and of course dependent upon Bitcoin's behavior as well as Ethereum's behavior, but that is a very major area that I'll be paying attention to. Now, I've been saying this for quite some time as well, is that when any asset, whether it's Theta or anything, or altcoins especially, when they move to the upside in the way that this has been moving to the upside, these ranges, and when I talk about ranges, I'm talking about the macro ranges. So for me, they're found between these two purple box zones. They get way bigger, way more violent, way more savage, and it's not for the squeamish. That's why I like to keep these areas on my chart. It keeps my emotions at bay, and just gives me an actionable plan. And as of right now, as gross as this is, I see no major alarms that that's it. It's over for Theta. It's going to zero. In fact, we're a long ways away from that. When you look left, you see that Theta's recent bullish reaccumulation was found between these two purple box zones. You see that it established that zone, came down and tested that bottom liquid zone several times, eventually double bottoming right here and then grinding its way back up, getting that change of behavior off this candle here, now just simply establishing a new liquid zone. Theta hasn't even tested this bottom liquid zone here. So it seems probable that this to me seems like the probable scenario that in time it'll likely do that, over the midterm. And perhaps that's even a reaccumulation zone. However, I always make those decisions based upon the daily candle body closes, as you all know, and I assess that when price action approaches those levels, because like I was saying before, the alt sector is going to be very, very vulnerable to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and who knows what kind of news gets rolled out as to why these dumps are happening. I just always look for the behavior between buyers and sellers. So going to keep my eyes on this and look to see what it does coming up for the remainder of the trading week and coming into next week. Tfuel up on the daily chart. Toggling into the price action, Tfuel is taking a dump with the rest of the market. I see today it is currently down close to 13%. Massive wick coming down to the former liquid zone, hitting that 21. Bots and algos right there, rifling price action right back up to where it is now. Tfuel reached down for that 21. That is coming in around the 6 cent mark. And of course, we've got that topside liquid zone coming in around 0.064 cents. And as I've been saying in the coverage of Theta, that is a major area to be paying attention to. And that is just testimony to that. I personally did not, as I was saying, I was not buying Tfuel at these levels. And I did not have any resting buys down below there. But typically I will put resting buys there for this reason, because when price action gets down there so quickly and gets bought up this way, well, at the very least, that was a very, very tradable bounce. If you go let's just go from the 21, because that's likely where I would have had my buy order. And currently, that would have been a 31% trade in less than a day. Like, you just don't see moves like that in traditional markets. That is an absolute trader's paradise. Now let's check in on the two-day Bollinger Bands here, because I want to see what's happening there. Price action is looking to close below that top side Bollinger Band. The 2-day will close in 4.5 hours. But if that candle closes above that top Bollinger Band, well, then I just hold on. And by the way, I'm still holding on to my Tfuel right now. And if it closes up above that top Bollinger Band, then continuation has to be the name of the game. However, I am getting skeptical about that as Bitcoin dumps and Ethereum dumps. Well, it's hard to imagine that the altcoins will continue to hold up. Now, if Tfuel manages to hold any daily candle bodies above this 10 and above this liquid zone here, then I'm just going to look for some bullish reaccumulation over time. But we've got some major wicks flying around here. It shows me that this is probably fairly illiquid. And we have a lot of speculative sellers here and speculative buyers going on. So it is overall a fairly difficult chart to read. So for me, this is going to be one that I just keep an eye on over the next couple weeks and watch it play out before exercising any more biases on it. But right now, bullish trajectory is still intact. I mean, short term, perhaps not. Mid-term to long term, still looking okay, other than all this crazy wick action going on in here. So not for the squeamish. Hopefully you guys are doing okay out there. Drop down the RSI. RSI got really nuclear, overbought, has left that nuclear zone, back into the bullish control zone, shredding the exponential moving average, leaving it the negative slope to the downside. Let's see what it does if it comes into contact with the edge of that bullish control zone. It'd be very cool to see it find some support down there, but it's hard to say at this point in time. Stochastics continuing their move to the downside here and are just about to lose the bullish control zone themselves, so momentum down. The histogram on is losing its positive momentum here. It's printing that smaller bar as well as it becoming lighter colored, which is indicating that the moving averages want to converge upon one another, but there's still no bearish crosses taking place at this point in time. So we'll have to keep our eyes first and foremost on the rest of the market as a whole, see what it does. And right now, Tfuel's having quite a nice bounce off that 21. I got to say that even though it's still down 15% at the time of recording, it's just par for the course when it comes to altcoins. But holding up quite well, at least at the time of recording. Let's see what happens with the rest of the trading week and then coming into next week as well, as things are just going to continue to shape up along the way. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing okay out there, not getting shish kebab by all this downward price action. Overall, the macro bullish trajectory is still very much intact, and I'll keep an eye on this. And as things progress, if we start getting those daily candle body closures below the bottom side of that liquid zone, I will be making a video and talking about what I see in the price action if and when that time comes. But until then, have yourselves a powerful day.